Hi, my name is Taylor and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. I'm a sophomore at the University of Washington in Seattle, and let me tell you, there's some really smart people here. I swear I've had a valedictorian in like every single one of the classes that I've ever taken. But yeah, it feels like everyone that I've encountered is someone with a goal of getting a PhD or becoming an engineer or going to law school. And it makes classes so competitive. In addition to this, all of the people that I'm close to, all of my close friends are engineers or CS majors, and they're also really smart people. One of the first conversations I ever remember having when I got to my university was with a group of students, and everyone was going around and sharing the number of AP classes they took in high school. This number ranged from 10 to 20 classes. Let me tell you, this was quite daunting for me because this wasn't my high school experience. I did not take 20 AP classes, and most people don't. But this kind of set the tone for what I'm going to be talking about today and one of my biggest insecurities to date, which is imposter syndrome. Am I good enough to be here? Oh god, I'm such an awkward person. But I'm just going to jump into the tips. So here are 5 things that I've learned in my 19 years of existence of how to overcome this feeling of not being good enough and imposter syndrome. Tip number 1 that I have is to just simply acknowledge that you yourself are someone who's smart and has your own ambitions. And this is probably the biggest eye-rolling tip because, of course, like a solution to something like doubting yourself is just to get out of your own head, but I feel like this is one of the tips with the most value. Imposter syndrome in itself disproportionately affects high-achieving people the most, and this is just something that's on every single psychological website or thing that I've ever seen. Quick pause, but I'm so sorry if I'm like moving places. I'm filming this on my iPhone right now, and I have this really bad tripod setup. Not even a tripod, I'm literally balancing this against a water bottle, but it keeps falling and I have to keep setting it up every like 10 seconds, so bear with me. But to just add on to that last tip, know that no matter where you are in life, whether you're in college or you're in high school and you're taking a really difficult class and it feels like everyone around you is doing so much better than you, just know that you're where you are because you're meant to be there. You're in a college institution because someone reading your essays and examining your application thought that you were a good fit and that you were meant to be there. And sometimes it just helps to kind of take a step back and to tell yourself these things just to get out of your own head. Kind of switching gears here for tip number 2, that is to update your resume. Not only is this good for your professional development, but it's kind of a tangible way for you to see everything that you've accomplished and to kind of remind yourself of that you are an ambitious person and you have done things that are worthwhile. My tip for this is to just go for it. Write your resume like you have the biggest ego, even if that's not really the case. I actually was just looking through my resume and I listed being a cashier at a grocery store as one of my positions, but I went all out and I just used the biggest action verbs that I could possibly think of to describe checking things along a conveyor belt, and that's just something that you kind of need to do. Also, this is falling. Yikes, this video's a mess. I really hope I can make it through the end of this without breaking my phone. But anyway, on to number 3, and that is to take either mornings or nights off for yourself. As a perfectionist, it's really easy to fall into a pattern where you're just in a constant scramble. You're always doing work, but you never feel like you're getting enough done. That's me. I'm really bad about that. And so I found that the easiest way to not feel guilty about taking time off and to just kind of have you time to recharge your battery is to just set aside mornings or nights every single day just to have you time. And for me, I am not a morning person in the slightest, so mornings are just kind of my easy time. Before 10:30 a.m., which is my first class, I just don't do anything school related. I take a slow morning where I just make myself a cup of coffee and I scroll through Instagram. I won't even check my emails. I can't. Otherwise, that stresses me out, so. Tip number 4, and that is to set goals. Now, this is something that everyone's familiar with probably. Back in middle school, everyone's teachers would make them set goals at the beginning of the year, and I felt like this was so pointless. I felt like I was writing the same goals year after year, saying that I was going to get A's and pay attention in class, but I didn't really realize the value behind setting goals until I got to college. It's so easy to get sidetracked and to compare yourself to what everyone else is doing. Me personally, all my friends are engineers, so I always felt like I was behind because I wasn't doing everything that they were doing almost. And this made no sense because I'm not an engineer. I don't need to be taking the same number of credits or do the same internships or whatever as what they're doing. So setting goals is kind of a tangible way to be able to keep your head straight. I don't know how else to put it. That could be daily goals. I have a planner and I like to write out all of my goals for the day and all the assignments that I want to accomplish. Or also long-term goals. Like, I am pre-med, so I'm going to have to go through the MCAT process and applications in the next, we'll give it like a couple years, who knows, but setting goals is definitely a good way to not compare yourself to others because it helps you to see what you yourself need to do. And the last tip that I have is to talk to people about these feelings that you may be having. And this also is another tip that seems like it's not very valuable, but is really, really valuable. Your friends and family are the most valuable resource to you. I remember feeling so scared to talk to my friends and my parents about feelings of worthlessness that I kind of had when it came to academia because my friends are such high achieving people and my parents are kind of your stereotypical Asian parents who expect you to get an A or you're grounded. And so I remember not wanting to say these feelings for a very long time, but when I finally did, it felt so freeing. I can't describe to you the feeling, but it's definitely something I need to work on too. I'm very bad at opening up to people. Hence the reason I'm opening up to my phone camera. Alright, I don't really know how to end videos, so I'm just gonna say thank you for watching this if you did. Probably gonna get like 2 viewers, one of which is probably gonna be one of my friends that I'm like texting saying, hey, I made a YouTube video, please check it out. But if you do happen to be somebody watching this video, please like and subscribe. I don't know, that's what everyone says, so I'm gonna say it too.